Okay guys, so I had the full arrangement of what my beat will be. So on this lesson, I'll be now giving, the final touches to it, going more into the mixing side, working on the levels, adding maybe some, EQs or certain things that would add like certain, punch or like pop or something that will make the track sound where I need it to be at take it to that end point where it sounds a lot more to the final product that we're going to listen to, whether it's on the radio or on your phone or whatever, so it has like a full mix and master sound. So let's get right to it. First thing that I want to do is I always try to add a limiter or a maximizer to my master track, which if we play, let's play the fullest part of this song, which would be the hook with the kick. Let's play it right now. You see how it's clipping towards the right on this area over here. You see it become red. So we don't want that because there's certain distortions and things that won't sound as pleasant when you like play it afterwards. So what you want to do is open this over here, and there's a lot of different Ableton has limiters and things that come built in. I tend to use the Ozone 9 from Isotope, which is very cool. It has a lot of different presets depending on the genre that you're like working on. So it has a lot of like different vibes. But for me, since I don't know exactly what I'm gonna end up doing, I don't want the sound to change as much, so I'm just gonna use this maximizer over here, and just like raise this threshold a little bit more, and just to see that it has a ceiling that's protected from the clipping, but not as much where it's squashing my mix. So let's listen to it right now and see the difference in the master volume. So if you see this area over here, the volume is not clipping anymore. There's no red in this section. So now you have a ceiling that's being protected. So what we want to do is now start leveling certain things, and maybe we can raise levels on, maybe lower the bass or raise the kick or raise the hi-hats, and start giving a more polished sound. So first thing that I'm going to do is go to this 808 over here and start seeing how it sounds. Maybe we can lower it, maybe we can raise it, and start leveling the different elements where we have in the fullest part of the song, which would be the hook. So I think I want to lower the main melody a little bit. I'm just going to work on the different levels right now in terms of volume, and then pass on, to the different part of the mix inside. So now I'm going to select everything except the bass and the 808s that we have, and just lower it a little bit so we still have the presence of the 808 without, having everything else be in the way. So let's see how this sounds now. So I think it sounds a lot better now. Maybe we can go to the master and probably lower this threshold over here. Maybe it adds a little bit more volume. So let's see. Let's start playing around with this. Probably lower this character over here so it doesn't take, attack from any of the sounds. So I think that's better. Now we can start like seeing if we can add a little bit of, texture to this 808. I like playing around with the, saturation. So if we open up this over here, it has, the different presets. So I like checking this warm up the lows, which would be the lower end of the frequencies on the EQ, and see if it adds a little bit of a resonance, or like a drive, a little bit of a texture, so you can hear a little bit more present. So let's try it out, see if it works. If it doesn't, erase, then we move on to the next sound. So let's play around with this one and see. So I think it sounds a lot better. Let me just play it alone and take it on and off so you can tell the difference. So right now without it, let's play it with it. I think with this you get a little bit of what the note is, because you hear a little bit more of the tail. Since it's on the lower frequency, can kind of get lost in exactly what the note is on the piano roll. So with this, I think it adds a certain accent to the sound. So I think it helps, and we can start playing around with this. I'll probably after this just go to the hi-hat. Normally I want to take some of the weird noises or frequencies that are competing with different parts of the beat. So we go to audio effects over here, EQs. Let's add the EQ8, and let's go to this first knob over here and just add, cut off, the lower frequency. So let's solo this and start like scrolling this knob to the right, and we start taking out, some of that, dirt and noise that it has, underneath. So let's play it with it and, start taking a little bit out of it. So on this one, it doesn't have much of a difference, but I think it helps on giving everything a little bit of, space. So we took that out of, the hi-hat. Maybe we can do the same with this main melody. Let's play around with this one a little bit. So on this one, I think I want to take some of the reverb that it has original on this preset a little bit off, and maybe some of the release, so it's not taking so much space. So let's go to maybe advanced over here. Yeah, you get to see like all of the modulations, the sequencer. It's not really being used right now, but the effects, and you see over here we have a reverb. So you got the dry and the wet. Wet is like adding more, dry is like not having anything. So let's play around with it being dry, and let's play it. So it has a delay that I didn't know because it had a reverb. So let's turn this delay off, play it again. So let's add a little bit of that reverb, but not much. So I think it sounds a lot better. We can maybe play with the attack of the sound, which would be the beginning part of the waveform, and see, if that sounds better. So let's take a little bit of the release out and see if it's a lot cleaner. So I think that works pretty, fine. Let's probably add some, stereo and space to this sound. So let's go over here, Slate Digital, Murder Melodies. If I'm not mistaken, Murder Beats did this plugin. He's an amazing producer also, so be sure to check it out. But yeah, you see over here where it says spread. So this is what I want to like play with right now on this. So let's play it alone. Probably see if you can tell the difference of it being more in the center and probably expanding towards right and left. So I think you could probably tell the difference there, and I think it gives space for maybe the percussion and the bass to be more in the center and have everything a little bit more open in the melody side, so there's more space between the different sounds. So let's play it all together with what we have and see how that works. So I think we cut a little bit too much off of the release. So let's put a little bit more over here. Maybe bring the attack where it was. I think that sounds a lot better. Maybe we can go back to this plugin and maybe, work on some of, maybe it has a reverb that could probably work. Here it says, add IC reverb. So let's see if that helps a little bit more our sound. So I think that works. I'm adding a little bit of brightness to this hi-hat over here. So, we have that higher frequency. So I think I like this. I'm gonna work on the EQs on the snare. I want to take some low end off, of the sound, so it's more of a simple kind of like a rim on the drums. So let's play around with this and not have it so heavy, but more of a little percussion accent. So now it sounds better. Now that we go into this section, I remember we added some open hi-hats, on the section coming, afterwards in a bit. Let's see how that sounds. One of them added to this part over here. So I think it sounds cool. I will copy this plugin that we added on the main melody. We pitched it up. So we're gonna add it so we can have the same space. But I would probably take that little reverb that we added at the end, this one over here, because this one already has it, and just see how this sounds a little bit more spread out. me play around with this section now that we have the other bass. We already worked on the original 808 and it sounds a lot better, so let's play around with this one. Let's take away this kick and see how it sounds alone. Not as good, so we keep the kick, but now let's work on the 808 per se. Maybe we can probably bring these two down and see how this sounds over here. So I'm gonna try and mimic the second half of it on the first one. So let's bring these two over here and copy this to this part over here. Probably take this tail off over this one. Let's play around with this now. Maybe not do exactly the same. Let's try it just like simple. So let's copy this section over here. Now I think it's a little bit more polished. And let's maybe add this little element that we added on the first 808 onto the second one. Just see how this sounds over here. So I think I like the snare, as we did, you know, with maybe trying it on the second melody that we did on the audio track. Let's convert this into, you know, beats over here. Instead of being in complex, let's put it on beats on the sampler. Change this to just going towards the right. And let's take a little bit of that, you know, tail, which would be this area over here. So it sounds a little bit more, you know, cut off. So let's try it over here when it first comes in, and let's see how this sounds. So I think I like how that sounds. Another thing that I want to check, you know, as a progression towards the end, if we can maybe not have these, you know, main melody coming down over here. Maybe let's just like mute this. Let's copy this one, which is the higher pitched one, and just see how that sounds going into the hook on the second, you know, go around. So I think it sounds cool. It gives it a little bit of a cool moment. But what I would do, I would probably work with pitching down either all of this or one of these notes. So it sounds, you know, it's like a little bit of a dynamic and a little bit of a, you know, a break. So let's see, let's play it and see what happens. So maybe this last note, let's cut it with Command E. Now we have this section over here. If we open it up, you'll see just that section of the waveform. And right now it's on 12 over here. Let's bring it back to 0. Let's see how this sounds right now. Maybe we can bring it, instead of being 0, let's bring it down to -12. And maybe see if that one on the pitch could work. Don't think so. So let's keep it at 0 where we had it, which is the original way we did it. We'll probably take these 2 notes from the second melody option that we did and just have it as clean as possible. So I think that's better. I think that works a little bit better. So I'll probably take all of this half just as we have it, in the one before, and have a clean, build up onto the hook. So I think with all these, elements, we mixed a little bit more, the main melodies. We took some low end off of, the hi-hat. Did the same thing with the snare. Open hi-hats, I think they're good. It was just a little bit more about, the levels on it. And the 808s, I think we added some little bit more of a texture and, saturation to some of like the frequencies on it, so you can notice it a little bit more. And, with this limiter, I think we have a more polished, more finished sound for this, trap inspired idea that we wanted to, create today. So let's just listen back to the finished beat now that it's a lot more polished and finished. So let's just go from the top. Okay guys, so now it's your turn to go and polish up your trap beat. Just go in on every, little detail that you're listening to. Check on different frequencies. Maybe there's something competing with the low end frequency of your kick or your 808, or maybe something is too bright. Maybe you want to like tone it down a little bit. Just go in little by every detail, because at the end that's really gonna help the final, product of listening to everything together. Maybe a sound could sound good by itself, but maybe with everything else combined, there might be certain things that you could probably adjust. So just really go in, take your time, and just create an amazing mix, and just polish it up as much as possible so you can have an amazing beat and amazing product at the end.